Hey there, and welcome back to Cosmic Crypto. In this video, we're going to be looking at Ravencoin, RVN. Let's go. Okay, welcome back. We're looking at Ravencoin on the weekly time frame. I was out for a few days there on a little vacay, and yeah, I brought my laptop, I brought my portable microphone, and I was planning on doing some videos while I was out, but yeah, it turns out that microphone is really bad, so the audio quality was, yeah, not up to par. So anyway, I'm back now, and yeah, if you haven't followed me on Twitter, appreciate all the new follows I've been getting. That's great. You can find the link down below in the description, and just remember, this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Just a dude on his computer. So, weekly chart. So far, looking pretty good. I'm actually happy with what's going on here with Ravencoin. I have not got my orders filled. I think I said earlier that I put my orders right around the 786 level. Kind of expecting it to come back down here. It still might. But we had a pretty decent bounce today after the Fed meeting. You know, everybody's expecting the 75 basis points, and since we got 75 basis points, the market can move on. I think that we got a big crash because there was a hint that there might be, you know, a 100 basis point increase, which if that would have happened, then the markets would have crashed. And I don't even think that my 786 line here would have held. I think that Ravencoin would have came all the way down to the bottom. So thankfully, we got the 75, and we can hopefully continue on our way. So previously in my last video on my update, I had stated that we had some good news for Ravencoin, even after getting heavily rejected with this really high wick on the weekly here. But also that is extremely difficult resistance that we're getting, trying to get above here. I mean, we have been pounding at this resistance for quite a while now, and we came up, we hit it, got heavily rejected, and now we're just kind of gathering ourselves down here. And we're still on the weekly holding above the 618, which is fantastic. And on top of that, we are holding this W pattern here. So we've got one bottom, two bottom, and normally a W pattern, you get the drop down, you get an attempt to go up, it fails, then it comes back down, creates this W in the next attempt to go up, but you've got to come back down to retest this center right here. On a W pattern. And so that's pretty much what we're doing. This is a weekly time frame, a larger macro time frame, so it's taken a lot longer. And we also had this massive run up. I mean, we, again, if you haven't been following, I mean, just off the second leg of this W here, we went up 180% roughly. I think we went up over 200% from the bottom of this W all the way up, 300 and something percent even actually, so even better. So, I mean, when you get a massive run up like that, and then you're going to come up to some pretty tough resistance, you'd want to expect that rejection. And I think in a previous video or a tweet, I can't remember what I did, probably both, I was talking about how on the 12-hour time frame we had some bearish divergence. We had also gotten a red on the braid filter, which I said was kind of a bad thing, and it looked like we were about to roll over. And that's pretty much what happened. So we rolled over, we came back down, we're holding good support right now. We could still come back down to this 786, so be prepared for that. But if we don't, I'll be happy with that too. That means that this W pattern is playing out nicely. And actually, just to get a price target for this W pattern. So how to get a price target for the W pattern is you go from the bottom to the middle, and you put the line at the middle where the retest is. It doesn't always have to be the middle. Basically where the retest comes down. And this is actually really good news, because what that is telling me is the price target is roughly 9 cents. And what 9 cents does for us is it pushes us out of this large triangle pattern that we're forming here. And that would be the best sign that we would want for Ravencoin. The next target, which I've had some people laughing at me, and you know what, it doesn't bother me because I understand. You know, we're in a bear market right now, and I'm calling for 60 cents and $1.60 possibly for Ravencoin. So if you're laughing at me, that's totally cool. I get it. You know, and honestly, these are just super bullish targets anyways. You know, it all depends on, you know, what's going to happen in this triangle. These are bullish targets. They don't have to hit, and I understand that. One of the bearish things that I am seeing is we are in this little rising, broadening wedge here. And I don't know if you've seen any of my other videos on these rising, broadening wedges, but they're usually pretty bearish, especially if we can't come and break out of this resistance up here and we end up coming back to maybe the 382 level here, which is around 5 cents, getting rejected again and then falling through. And the price target for this rising, broadening wedge would be back down to retest this previous support. So, I mean, I'm not saying we're going to break out of this tomorrow. I'm not even going to say we're breaking it out of next week. I did kind of hint that I think maybe 4 to 6 weeks or maybe up to 8 weeks because that would be in line with a breakout for this giant triangle. The big triangles or these triangle patterns usually break out around 70% of the pattern itself. And 70%, I don't know exactly, but it's going to be roughly around, you know, the middle of October. So we're looking at a few weeks here. And that doesn't mean that we're getting the total breakout there. That could mean that we could just get up and retest the 6 to 7 cent level around that time and possibly get that breakout. It could fail, but I'm pretty bullish on this right now. And on top of that, I see some really good moves down here in the RSI on the weekly. We broke above the 50 and we're coming back down, and let me get this a little larger here. And we're retesting this 50 line. So this dashed line in the middle here is the 50 line. And we are retesting it right now, and we're actually holding it fairly nicely, which is good. You want to see the RSI get above the 50, come back down, retest. And we're probably waiting, honestly, this price here is waiting for this moving average to catch up. So the moving average hopefully will catch up, and this puts us right around October 17th when the moving average would possibly catch up with this. So we could just trade sideways here between, you know, 3.5 cents to 5 cents. Could trade sideways there for a little bit, and then hopefully we get the breakout to the upside. So just pay attention. These are just, you know, this is just a theory. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, so we've got the retest on this W pattern, which is looking pretty good. We've got a nice bullish candle forming here on the weekly, which is good. Now let's go down to the daily and see what's happening here. So here's the big thing we need to happen. Okay, before I get to the big thing, the RSI is curling back up over. We came down, and usually when you have a retracement on the RSI, you're going to see it come down to roughly the 40 area, and right now we've held the 45. So it can come down to the 50 and all the way down to the 40, and it's still considered bullish, and then it comes back up. And right now this is great. We've got a touch of the 45 on the RSI. We're coming back up, and the MA is coming back down. And when you see on the daily the white line cross the yellow line, which is the RSI line crossing the MA, that is a good sign. Just like right back here when we had the white line finally break above the yellow line, that's when we saw this big pump right here. So pay attention to that on the RSI. The good news also on the braid filter is the braid filter's histogram's going down. The red is going down, which is good. That means that the bears are starting to lose momentum to the downside. The volume is also, I mean, actually the volume's okay for the bearish side. It is okay. So I don't want to talk, I mean, we don't need to look at that, but yeah, so we are forming, we've got multiple touch points on this rising, broadening wedge, multiple, and in order for this theory that I have to continue to play out, it is very, very important that we get back above this 200 EMA. So I'm on the daily right now, and it looks like the 100, sorry, I don't remember what I have up here. I think it's the 50, actually. No, it's the 100. So we're looking at the 20 and the 100. And so it looks like the 100 EMA is held nicely right here. So we've come back down. We did break below the 618, but we held that 100 EMA, which is good, but we are under the 200 and the 20 EMA. So we really need to get above that 200 EMA. We need these candles to turn green, because once they turn green, that means we've broken above, on my chart anyways. I don't know what you're using. I'm using the EMA trend bars, which allows me to set the candle colors to a specific EMA, and I've got it set to the 200 EMA. But once we break above that, my candles will start turning green, and that'll be a good sign. We want to break above. That'll also get us above the 0.5 Fibonacci here, and then we'll probably, what we're probably going to do is, if we do break above, we're going to, let me get that back, hit the 382, which is also at 5 cents, and we'll probably come back down to retest the EMA down here, the 200 EMA again, and if it holds, that's when we might see the move to the upside. And so that's kind of where I think we might be heading for the daily chart, is possibly, we've had a really nice move. We're up almost 8% right now after the Fed meeting. And actually all crypto's in the green right now. So people obviously liked the fact that we held the 75 basis points. So we need to get above that. The problem here is if we do get rejected off of this 200 EMA, that might not be good news. What that might do is it might allow us to go sideways for a little bit, come back down, finally retest this 786 like I've been saying we might do. And that would also allow us to retest this support line for the rising broadening wedge here. But if we do that, I would actually prefer we didn't. But if we did do that, then we really need, we're not going to go up and we're not going to reach these price points of 60 cents and $1.60 unless we break above this resistance line that I've got up here on the daily. We would need to have a daily candle, in my opinion, close above the resistance, which right now around that point would be around just under 7 cents. So we need to close a daily candle above that. If we need to do it anyways if we're going to go up to 60 cents and $1.60. But if we came all the way down and tapped this 786 and we couldn't get back up here, then this run is completely over. And my price targets of 60 cents and $1.60, at least in the short term, are invalidated, in my opinion. So let's just hope that we hold these positions here, keep moving up, and we finally break out roughly, I'm going to hope in mid-October that we break out of here. Because we're getting, we actually have until this triangle, comes at an apex roughly around, we got a long ways to go in this triangle. So, I'm hoping that it's going to break out around the 70%, which is right around here, which is in October. We could go all the way until next August, next September, and stay in this triangle. So if we don't break out now and get out of here now, then, set your alarm clock for next August in 2023, because that's when we're probably going to get our breakout. So let's just all cross our fingers and do whatever you got to do to get this price to move up and out of here. Otherwise, we got another year to go. But that's kind of what I'm seeing right now on the daily. Let's go down to the shorter time frames, the lower time frames here, because we do have a nice pump here. I'll just look at the 4 hour and then we'll call it quits on this. So we've got resistance at the 200 on the 4 hour and also the 20. They're around the same price here. The 20 is my this cloud right here is the 20. The good news is we're in the gray, and I actually like that. That means that we're losing momentum in basically both directions. But previously we've had nothing but red on the braid filter, and so we've just been having bearish momentum this entire time. So we had a couple greens here when we had a move that was right before the Fed meeting, and then we got rejected, or maybe this was right during the Fed meeting, got rejected, and now we're moving at it again, which is a good sign. I like to see that. And so if on the, let's go to the 1 hour, maybe we got a green on, yep, so we do have some the histogram growing in green on the 1 hour, which is good. We've also got the RSI crossed over here and above the 50 EMA, which is good. And so I'd like to see the 4 hour get some green on the braid filter here, which if we're around this area right now and we start getting a green on the braid filter, that means we're probably going to break through the 200 EMA and the 20 EMA and come all the way up to get to this 100 EMA, which is around the 4.5 cent level. And we also need to get the RSI on the 4-hour to finally break above this 50 line on the RSI as well. So anyway, that's kind of what I got for Ravencoin. Just a quick update. I've been out for a few days, but I think the rest of this week is going to kind of give us an idea of some price action, because we had the Fed meeting. We're not going to have another one for another month, I believe, and so now we've got some room without having the Fed pushing us down or whatnot. All that's out of the way, and so now we can kind of see where the market wants to take us. Which, this has been actually really good. We came back down, we retested this W pattern, and now if we can just get that breakout to the upside, that would be good. And it's not going to go in a straight line. We're going to have some ups and downs in here, especially some resistance at that 5-cent level again. But once we start breaking through that 5-cent level again, pay attention, because like I stated, and I'm going to go to the weekly here, like I stated in my previous video, if we're following what we did back here, so right here we broke above the 50, and we had the gray on the braid filter, and then the first weekly that got this green on the braid filter after we broke above the 50, or right as we broke above the 50 really, and then the second green after, that's when we started this massive run, and that's when we went up. On this W pattern that was created here, that's when we went up 1700%, whatever. Well, similarities, we've got some gray on the braid filter. We're above the 50. Now, if we can start getting a big candle push on the weekly and get this to be green, that you might want to start getting some orders in or something, because if we get another move like that, that hits our price target perfectly of 60 cents if we get that same move that we had back here. So just pay attention. I'll keep us posted on Twitter and on some videos, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like this video, I don't know, smash that like button. I think that's what everybody says. I don't really like that, so just hit the like button. And share this video, subscribe to the channel, do all that other stuff. And remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a dude on his computer. Talk to you later.